A crazy 24 to 36 hours and a disgusting scene at that beautiful Mar-A-Lago. Federal agents having to provide security as the FBI ransacks the place. Yeah, this is as bad as, well, it could get worse, but this is bad. However, it's a turning point. I'm feeling so optimistic. I mentioned it last night. Tonight, even more optimistic because there are so many people who are waking up. They will not stand for this abuse. And if it can happen to a former president of the United States, it can happen to them. The scene at Mar-A-Lago last night from the sky, police vehicles surrounding the place essentially as they looked for whatever it was they were looking for. We don't have the full story. But people showed up. And it's not just them. I think they represent not only Trump supporters themselves, but independents, maybe even some Democrats who believe that this is government overreach. About a half dozen times now, they've tried to take down President Trump, and it doesn't work. The guy's been investigated more than any human being in history. He's clean. And the Democrats, some of them just can't stand it. Let's go through what he's been through. The Russia hoax, impeachment number 1, impeachment number 2, January 6th, and now this thing with the documents. And through it all, the FBI, huh? Shouldn't they be embarrassed at this point? I mean, really, give it up. It's time for this agency to be rebranded. Change the name. Forget it. Forget it. And you're spending a lot of time on things that are not important, and who knows what serious is going to happen to this country next. You got bigger things to worry about, my friends. So, you know, when the FBI comes after you, comes after Trump, comes after his associates, it's actually a badge of honor. Take a look.
Breaking news right now, but another Trump associate being interviewed by the special counsel, Robert Mueller's investigator.
This is just the latest in a long list of close Trump associates who have faced criminal charges.
The third former Trump associate now entering into a plea bargain with special counsel Robert Mueller.
7 people have pleaded guilty. We've learned at least 16 Trump associates have had contact with Russians.
None of those people are implicated. None of those people are guilty of anything, actually. Getting them for tax problems from 20 years ago. No. The bigger this list gets, and now they want to put Trump on it, and they have put Trump on it, it implicates the swamp. Democrats in Congress, the FBI, yes, the intelligence community. Everything they've accused Trump of doing, they're actually doing. Yeah. Remember how afraid they were of Trump weaponizing the DOJ to go after, say, Hillary Clinton?
The she would be in jail thing was, from my perspective, outrageous.
It's like a banana republic, as some people have said. That's not the way our democratic system works.
A line was crossed that I don't know has been crossed in my lifetime, maybe ever. He threatened to jail his opponent.
Right, yeah.
Over and over. If I'm elected, I'm going to put you in jail. I mean, this is what they do in banana republics.
It's so far beyond the bounds of American politics, traditional American politics. It's way outside the mainstream. And it really, that's the language of a tin-pot dictator.
All right. They're talking about something that Donald Trump said during the campaign. And once he was elected, he said, no, I'm not going to hurt Hillary. These are good people. He didn't do it. It was rhetoric. But the Democrats are actually doing what they say they're afraid of. This scene at Mar-A-Lago, oh yeah, they have weaponized the DOJ. And it's fascinating how they always accuse Trump of doing it, whether it was against Hillary or against Joe Biden.
This president, Donald J. Trump, coerced a fragile foreign ally to investigate his political opponent.
The president is hectoring and haranguing the leader of a foreign country to conduct an investigation that could damage one of the president's political opponents. And that in and of itself seems like it crosses a line.
You cannot do that as the president of the United States. You cannot use the massive power entrusted to you to try to destroy your political opponents.
Where is all the moral outrage now that Joe Biden is actually doing it? His administration is doing this. He's doing it. And I guess when he does it, it's cute, it's funny, I don't know, or it's righteous because he's going after Trump.
You often get asked, look, the Republicans don't play it square. Why do you play it square?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? If we do the same thing they do, our democracy will literally be in jeopardy.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
not a joke. And
I understand that argument, but also it's like you're playing Monopoly with somebody who, won't pass go and won't follow any of the rules. And how do you ever make any progress if they're not following the rules?
you got to send them to jail.
Did you hear that? Send them to jail. And when you send agents to somebody's home, these are one of the things you do. This is a raid and you get a warrant, and this is what you do when you're trying to send somebody to jail, ultimately. And you hear how Joe Biden said, they're assaulting democracy. They're assaulting democracy. We have to defend democracy. That's overblown rhetoric that they employ to justify their subverting democracy, okay? They're going around it to stop Trump, who they have falsely said is a threat to democracy. What is it about Donald Trump, by the way? I like his style. I like his policies. I understand not everybody does, all right? There are people who don't like the style, but still, what is it about him that has just gotten under their skin, the left? I mean, I'd like to go through his presidency for a moment here. This is reasonable, actually very good stuff. Inflation at 1.9%, criminal justice reform, meaningful criminal justice reform. It happened. Peace with North Korea. Do they have an objection to any of this stuff? How about when it came to China? Not playing the games that Joe Biden plays, but really making it clear cut for everybody.
It was China's fault, and China's going to pay a big price, what they've done to this country. China's going to pay a big price, what they've done to the world. This was China's fault. And just remember that.
Just remember that. Does anybody have an issue with that? Joe Biden might, okay, with Hunter and his entanglements. What else? We defeated ISIS. Donald Trump defeated ISIS. He did. Economic growth, gas prices under $2. Really, what are they concerned about? Where is the fascism? They're always talking about the fascism. This is a guy, President Trump, played by the rules. This is not how a fascist talks. Listen.
And I'll sign the final papers as soon as I get into the Oval Office, and we will have a national emergency, and we will then be sued, and they will sue us in the Ninth Circuit, even though it shouldn't be there. And we will possibly get a bad ruling, and then we'll get another bad ruling, and then we'll end up in the Supreme Court, and hopefully we'll get a fair shake, and we'll win in the Supreme Court. Just like the ban, they sued us in the Ninth Circuit, and we lost, and then we lost in the appellate division, and then we went to the Supreme Court, and we won.
If he were such a fascist, why did he just say, I'm going to decree it, I'm going to make it happen? I'm not going to... No. He wasn't. He's not. He's not. Now, I think what really offends the swamp and the Democrats is the demeanor. And again, he's unorthodox, right? The tweets and whatnot. But is that any explanation for this? It's like they're going to burn the country down because they are offended by him. January 6th, I think, you've seen the footage by now when they let the protesters inside, the killing of Ashley Babbitt, all that stuff. They did it in an effort to besmirch Donald Trump in the most severe way, because the presidency, as we just pointed out, was actually very reasonable. They have to portray him, vilify him as this threat to democracy.
Donald Trump and his allies and supporters are a clear and present danger to American democracy.
This zombie, former Judge Ludig, still bitter that he never got a seat on the Supreme Court. The fake news, the mainstream, everybody said, oh my goodness gracious, yes, a clear and present danger. It was a horrible thing for him to say, and totally wrong. He said Trump and his supporters, clear and present danger. Let's stay on that for a second. What is that? A risk or threat to safety or other public interest that is serious and imminent. One that justifies limitation of a right as freedom of speech or press by the legislative or executive branch of government, from Merriam-Webster. That second part, one that justifies limitation of a right as freedom of speech or press. They have lost their minds. This is Trump derangement syndrome, and they will undermine democracy to protect us, okay? No way, no way. They've totally lost it.
The gravest threat to democracy in America is President Donald Trump.
Donald Trump himself does pose a unique existential threat, and we need to deal with that.
A huge issue is the threats that Donald Trump is still posing to our democracy.
Donald Trump has been and remains a threat to our national security and our democracy.
This is a person that's actively subverting American democracy.
When I look at Donald Trump, I see an existential threat to the country.
We are confronting a domestic threat that we have never faced before. And that is a former president who is attempting to unravel the foundations of our constitutional republic.
How? By pointing out that the drop boxes in Wisconsin were illegal, which they are, which they were, which the Supreme Court of Wisconsin actually ruled? What's so dangerous, Liz, huh? I know. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know what has gotten into you. I do know this. You've been pushing around Merrick Garland, and he's wimpy enough to go along with you guys. I mean, I'm not saying, I don't want to say, he doesn't look like the strongest guy I've ever seen, right? And I think he's going to fold. He is folding right now. We're seeing it to you guys, and you're badgering.
Why is Merrick Garland allowing this nonsense to continue?
He's such an institutionalist that maybe he's too afraid to go after Trump.
Merrick Garland, if you indict Trump, you'll be my person of the year, of the decade.
All right. See, Merrick Garland is, he wants to be loved, I guess. Maybe he should just hang around President Trump. Ask him how he does it, right? This is something that drives them crazy. The genuine affection his supporters have for him and he has for his supporters. Politicians, no, they don't like people generally. They don't. Oh, I'll tell you somebody who does not like people. I mean, I'm just assuming. Mitch McConnell? Whoa. So I took to Twitter today because I noticed he didn't say anything about this. 24 hours went by and Mitch McConnell had nothing to say until, well, I hit him with a tweet about 4 hours ago. This came out about a half hour ago.
The country deserves a thorough and immediate explanation of what led to the events of Monday. Attorney General Garland and the Department of Justice should already have provided answers to the American people and must do so immediately.
Thanks, Mitch. Wow, what a leader, huh? So, I have some advice for the January 6th committee also, because I have a feeling that this is a desperate attempt to, well, it's a couple things. Number one, maybe they acknowledge that the January 6th hearings didn't work, so they have to kick it up a notch, or maybe they're desperately hunting for something tied to January 6th. I don't know, but these folks, their hatred is destroying them. Their hatred is destroying them. Richard Nixon left office, how many years? 1974. August 9th, 1974. That is 48 years ago. Wow. And I've always been fascinated by the 37th President of the United States. Hey, look at this moment, just as he gets on and he does this thing. Take it full if you don't mind.
One of the saddest incidents that he's ever seen. And there's the President waving goodbye, and you hear the applause.
Wow, huh? 48 years ago today. So, just before he got on the helicopter, though, he talks to his staff. This was the daytime speech. He had announced his resignation, that it was happening the next day, the night before. He said something very interesting, and I think the Democrats should listen, because so many of them are full of hate. What can happen to you if you're full of hate?
Always give your best. Never get discouraged. Never be petty. Always remember, others may hate you, but those who hate you don't win unless you hate them. And then you destroy yourself.
It's not perfect, but I think it works. They hate Donald Trump so much, they're destroying themselves, and they are destroying this country. We're not going to let that happen. Thank you, President Nixon, and thank you, President Trump. We'll be right back.
JP Morgan CEO is warning that an economic hurricane is coming. Are you preparing? If you don't do anything, your 401k could be a 201k, and that is not good. So call our trusted friends at Lear Capital. For 25 years, Lear has helped investors own gold to protect against market chaos. It's a good thing. They can help you too. Get your information and up to $15,000 in bonus IRA gold. Just call this number, 800-880-4300. That's 800-880-4300.